Hi, friends. Welcome to Beyond Sundays. I'm Pastor Erin, and here we just like to have meaningful conversations, share stories that go a little bit beyond what we get to on Sunday mornings. And we're excited that you've joined us for this conversation today. We've got with us Pastor Michael Baker. This is going to be an awesome time. Thanks for being here with us. We do a lot of stuff with students on Wednesday nights. Let me just remind you, this is not a Wednesday night.
No, I'm excited to be in this white room with you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, you just gave an amazing message this Sunday about working hard and laziness.
Yeah.
We just want to go a little bit beyond that together.
Let's do it.
So, as a dad of three and a self-proclaimed sleeper, you love your sleep.
I am.
How do you tend to manage and balance hard work and rest?
Yeah, I mean, with 3 kids, if we're being honest on Beyond Sundays here,
Yes, we are.
Rest is hard to come by. I probably don't get very much. But I think of what I try and do is like limit other stuff in my life so that I can focus on the things that do matter. And so rest, busyness is easy to come by, where, work and 3 kids, but like the rest it's hard to find. And for me, that does look like time with friends, anytime when no one's asking something of me, whether it's like reading my Bible or like working out or hanging out with friends when like I'm not asked of, that feels restful for my soul. You know? So that's, but it's very rare.
Yeah. So. It's like you're not leading a meeting, you're actually just hanging out in the backyard with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Joking around, doing whatever. Like even with the kids, like taking them somewhere where we're all having fun together. Like this is restful for my soul.
Very true.
But it's not like I'm laying down in a quiet room is like not a thing.
It's even really hard to imagine knowing who you are. I don't. That's probably not doesn't happen often.
Active rest.
Well, also I know you and some things you've done with your phone. You kind of made your phone dumb. How does that help your rest? Talk about that a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about hard work, like one of the things I want to do more is be the kind of dad who like comes home from work and is like hanging out with the kids, playing with it. And I did find like last fall, like I would come home from work, I was tired, whatever, and like I would scroll, like look at stupid, dumb things, read articles that don't matter, and like I would be on my phone way more than I was excited about. And so in efforts to like find rest for like, even my brain, but to be more present with my family and work hard at like caring for my family well. Yeah, I took my phone and I did this thing so that like I can't look at any apps. I can basically text and call at this point and like look at maps because I get lost. But like that's it. And so I have no ability to so as far as rest, I can't like turn my brain on autopilot. I have to either like find proper rest or be present with my kids and my family, and even at work it's better for me. So in that way, my phone has been a funny, it's like really annoying for my wife because I'm on it, like I don't call her as much, like I'm just like it's weird.
Doesn't work very well. A
A
little different than Pastor Ryan last week trying to step into the new phone generation. You're going backwards.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
To each their own.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we've talked about hard work and how good that is, and actually you've shared with us this weekend how it helps us achieve or find a meaningful life instead of just laziness. But is hard work alone enough to achieve success, or is faith equally as important?
Yeah, I mean, Pastor, I have to say faith is equally important. I do think I do think that, like, hard work will accomplish what it sets out to accomplish. If the goal is to like make money, old Cypress Hill, big house, 5 cars coming up in the world, like if that's the goal, hard work will accomplish it. I think what hard work will accomplish is empty without faith. And so like there is like, you could accomplish a lot, and yet I think without faith and like an infusion of like the gospel and meaningful values to that hard work, we will find very quickly that it's empty, and we'll lay our head on the pillow in the evening and be like, why did I just work 18 hours? Why did I just make tons of money? What's the point if you're not filling it with like, I can care for the world, I can care for people, I can show love, I can be in line with the will of God. That's where hard work becomes meaningful work. And I think that's a distinction that maybe I didn't do well enough on Sunday. I'm sorry. But I do think like hard work is good in as much as it seeks to accomplish filling it is where we find joy and peace and all these good things.
We can't get to everything on Sundays. That's why we go beyond Sundays.
That's good.
Well, I mean, we see movies made about this, right? Like millionaires on their deathbeds are going like, what actually did I work to achieve? Or we see there's been like studies or articles written about quarterbacks and football players after the Super Bowl, they win. And a week goes by and they're like, it felt good, but now what's kind of next? And so I think you're speaking to that. Like there's a meaning to life that God has given us. And I loved on Sunday you talked about in the garden, before sin, before striving, before needing to work for our identity. God gave people work as a gift. But sometimes it doesn't feel like that, to be honest. Like you look around and so work feels hard. It feels like you have to work for an identity. How can followers of Jesus begin to see work as a gift from God again?
Yeah, I think there's a Martin Luther quote of like, what the church often tells like a carpenter is to don't be drunk and show up to church on Sundays. But Martin Luther, he says like, but what the church should tell him is to make great tables. And I'm like, I think that's where like our work is good for us when we commit to it with a God or sense of call and meaning. Because whether you are, again, it's a guy in my community group, Pat, shout out Pat, he's like a CPA. He's an accountant, which sounds really fun and interesting. But he talks about like he's where I talked about like serving and sacrificially being I called him and was like, dude, what's that look like in your real world job, And he talks about like it's serving other people, it's finding ways to be sacrificial in the workplace. And even though it's probably a grind to wake up and like go to the office and do like these jobs
do math. Can't even imagine.
They feel removed from like we have it easy. Like we pray and Ryan talks to us about vision and this is joyful. But like removing some of that, it probably is. There's probably moments where it's a grind. It takes reminding yourselves by being in God's word, interacting with people in community groups, showing up to church on Sunday, like reminding ourselves of how our work is meaningful and valuable and how doing well is like that fiduciary relationship with the earth. We make the earth better by doing our work well. Whether you're making shoes, you're working, or you're hanging out raising your kids and doing whatever it is. Like it's all good work.
Right.
And so but you have to remind yourself. There's there's no silver bullet. Like
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I'm going through the Old Testament in my own like just quiet time, like Exodus, Leviticus, so fun.
Good work.
I recommend it.
You did it.
But like where God tells Moses how to make the temple and how to make the priest's clothes and all these things, and he made this whole list, and it feels like, why am I reading this?
Yeah.
I'm not a carpenter right now. But then he says, okay, and then he gave to these people by name the gifts in order to do that. The gifts to be a good carpenter. The gifts to know how to like sew clothing and things together, like to remind us that God has given us and has placed us to do good work. I think that's a huge reminder.
It's the Tim Keller book I quoted in the sermon, but he says in it, like, we pray for our daily bread, and we're praying that like the farmers would do their job. A sales guy would sell the wheat to a bakery. The baker would do his job. The truck driver would deliver it. And we're like, God, give me my daily bread. We're praying for like a functioning peoples to work hard to provide what we like. There's good work going on for me to risk, because I can't hunt.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I can't provide for myself in any regard, and so I'm trusting the work of others to even help me accomplish what God would have me accomplish. So work is being done everywhere, all the time. Yeah. Tim Keller's smart. You should read the book.
Maybe I will. But truly, like to say we're better together, actually. So if you even just start see, how do I become an even better employee to my boss? If this would help the vision go better, I'm also trying to be a good employee to you as my boss. If I can help this vision go further, I'm going to play this part. Even our volunteers on Wednesdays are going to like chop up papers to be ready for the retreat that's coming up. But even how do I become a good employer? Like I'm going to take care of this so that my people who work with me have an easier opportunity to do that. Like I think trusting people is a really good reminder too.
Totally.
God also gave us gift in the garden, but he gave us each other relationships. That's really good. Well, you mentioned your generation in the message, millennial, and I
millennials.
am a millennial,
Are
just
you?
in case you turn it back on me.
Oh, no.
And so we, opens up a generational conversation. And right now, like we're seeing Gen Z in high school, coming into college, coming into the workplace,
Yeah.
and can be criticized by former generations of maybe being lazy, maybe being unwilling or undesiring to work.
Yeah.
But that might be a misconception.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? We work with Gen Z people, and
Yeah.
Gen Alpha's coming up. Like, what do you think?
I think a lot of times it takes any other generation to recover, like to realize, like Gen Z is like in the workforce, like they're in their mid 20s.
Yeah.
Like I think you might be Gen Z. I know
I'm not.
I know you say you're not, but like I like so there's a degree of like things are being done, like they're working, they're involved in. I think that there might be a different value system, right? Like they'd rather work not in the office and work so that they can like live the way that God has designed them. I don't know if they'd all say that, but like they want to chase down passions and hobbies and things that give them joy alongside working, but they're not like not working. I think every generation looks at I remember when they were saying millennials, like we were killing the napkin industry and we were the worst thing. We're the worst generation of all time.
Well, I still can't buy a house because I did have avocado toast this morning.
Yeah, exactly. And so like now we're like, oh, Gen Z stinks. Gen Z soon is gonna be like, can you believe Gen Alpha doesn't work? I'm like, we all just like, it's this continual pattern of like, that's just how we look at the people after us and we go, they're not doing what we did. It's like, that's just not true. Like, like everyone's just, they're finding their way. They're figuring out. I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, I like the value system shift where like they're starting to recognize I think for better, and then maybe sometimes for worse, we all could use the reminder to work hard with what we've been tasked with. But that better piece of like, they're not their job.
Yeah.
Their worth is, they're going to say, I'm going to make this money so that I can live this way, but I'm more than just my 9 to 5.
Totally.
Like, I want to be free to do
it's a
this.
progression, right? Like long time ago, it was like suit and tie in an office. Then it was like business casual. And now we're like, a t-shirt and I work from home Thursdays, and then it's like, it's just this natural progression of like, how do we view work in light of our lives? And like Gen Z and Gen Alpha and Gen after that is just going to continue that progress.
Definitely.
Which I think is like cool and good and fine.
Like,
like
natural.
Let them work wherever they want. Yeah. So
very true.
You and your Gen Z.
Yeah. Well, and Gen Z's not bad. I would be one if I wasn't born as a millennial. So thank you. Just last bit of any encouragement for any generation of people that are at our church. We've got a multi-generational, beautiful, thriving church community. Any encouragement about working hard and also living in the gospel too?
Yeah, I think if people would really evaluate and ask themselves what meaningful work they can do is, that would shift a lot. Because one fear of like a message like mine would be like, hard work means sign up for every class, volunteer every time you're asked, and just fill your lives with like stuff. Yeah. And that's I would be sad if somebody did that because of my words, I think that it's finding like, how can I maximize my potential to do what God asked me to do, and then be willing to work hard at it. Like there are times to be like we have a retreat coming up.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna work hard for like the next 10 days of our lives.
Yes.
Like, and that's wonderful. Like what a joy. Yes. And then like maybe after that, like I'll take some days off. You should keep working, but I'll take it easy, and like we find these rhythms. But like if the work we find is meaningful, commit to it. Yep. But make sure it's meaningful. Just get rid of like junk and do meaningful work with passion and with vigor and with like hard tenacity. Like, get after it. Don't be scared of getting after it.
That's
Let's
really
go
good.
do it together. Yeah, so
that's really good.
That's what I think. Thanks.
I like that. Yeah, you're right. And not just because.
No, it's because of the cameras.
It's because of the cameras. It's because you're my boss. No, but truly, thank you. I'm really glad that you're a pastor at our church. I love when you get to preach on Sundays. It's genuine, truly.
It's fun to do.
Yeah, and so thank you for being here with us. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us on Beyond Sunday. And I hope that you found a ton of encouragement and passionate, meaningful conversation here, and that you would join us next week for our next conversation.